friends. Welcome to the Overcomers, a movement and a group of people who have overcome, and they've got a story. That's what the Overcomers is all about. You sharing your story. Why? Because there is power in your story, and people need you. They need your voice. They need your story of hope, faith, and inspiration that where they're at right now is not the end. They need to know if you can overcome, so can they. Today, I'm excited to share with you another story of one such overcomer. So let's go check out who it is. I'm honored to be here today with my friend, Linda Potgieter. Linda, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, Jen, it's so good to see your pretty face again. Thank you for having me.
So Linda, wow, is it amazing to see your face too. And she's actually joining us all the way from South Africa. How amazing is that? So a few things I want to share about my friend Linda, in case you don't know her, like I have had the pleasure of getting to know her before we get started. Linda is an amazing wife and mom to two beautiful kids. She has overcome a lot in life, including being at a place at one time where she hated who she saw in the mirror. Who she saw was frigid, had zero self-confidence, and zero self-esteem. She's now a business owner and the founder of Linda Page. Now she loves the woman that she sees in the mirror. And she went from frigid to frisky. Now teaching others about beauty and self-esteem. She is bold, courageous, passionate, and relentless for the kingdom. But what I'm blown away most by you, Linda, is your heart. Not only have you flipped who you saw that day, but you really care about other people to a degree most aren't willing to go to. Your heart is so epic. You are magnetic and stunningly fierce. People are drawn to you because of it. And when they get the opportunity to be witness to the depth inside of you, watch out. You have an amazing gift for seeing people, seeing the depths of someone, and then depositing right into that very place where they need it most. And I know that because you've done it for me. I'll never forget the first time I met you. And I didn't know who you were, but I was drawn to you. You knew nothing about the depths of my story or my pain, but you made sure to come up to me. And what you said to me, I'll never forget. You spoke life right into the darkness of my life, and you made me feel seen. It takes an incredible and selfless heart to do that for what at the time was basically a stranger. And I've continued to get to know you and watch you, and you are consistently pouring into other people like that, day in and day out. So that's why I'm so excited to have you here today, friend, because of that very reason. Your heart is so huge. So take us on that journey. How did you go from where you used to be to where you are now?
Wow. So Jen, my gosh, I love your introduction. May I borrow it?
Absolutely.
Seriously, thank you. Those are very generous, very honoring and loving words. I remember the day that I met you. I can't recall what I said exactly, but I do remember how God highlighted you to me. And it wasn't just your funky or gorgeous hair, it was your heart. So thank you for that. Yeah, it's a crazy story, and I think we need a little bit of crazy in life, right? I think it's helpful, actually. I think too normal and too sane is not helpful. What happened? Well, my coach happened, basically, is what happened. In 2013, I was dragged kicking and screaming by a new friend of mine who was kind of like a guy I knew kind of at church, to a conference in London in the UK called First Steps to Success. This is not the first time that I had done any personal development or invested in myself or done any coaching of any kind, but it is the first time that I actually had gotten really serious about looking at the woman in the mirror and just thinking, I can't go a day longer hating what I see and hating the woman that I'd become. I was my own worst critic. I was vile to myself in my mind, with my words in the mirror. And that's not okay when you're a mom. It's not okay when you're a wife. It's not okay ever. And so I was facing my second divorce. I had a little boy that somebody else was raising, because I was told, and I believed the lie when I was younger, that I must never be a mother. I'll be a terrible mother. I'm too ambitious. I'm too impatient, and I'm all of those things. And, you know, everyone's got a story. And I want to say right up front, Jen, I think there's pain. I think there's purpose in all of our pain. I really do. It sounds a bit pious, but I do believe there's purpose in our pain, only if we decide to work through it and do something about it. There's no purpose in pain if you just go through the pain and do nothing about it. And so acting on that pain is what turned things around for me. And my friend and brother from another mother, Richard, got us to DannyJohnson.com, which was a conference we attended in 2013. And I just the waterworks just opened up. I cried a river in the first half hour of the conference. It was all just soundly biblically based, without being religiously shoved down your throat. You know, there was no religion in it. There was total freedom in everything I was hearing her say. And I sat in that conference that day knowing this was my lifeline. And so I appreciate everyone who, I was raised in a few different homes. I know that I wasn't always wanted in those homes. And so I had, you know, been through like a lot of women. I'd been through some physical, emotional, and sexual abuse. And by the time I got to 17, and as a young woman, I hated myself. I carried a lot of pain and shame around my body and my image. And I didn't have a clue how to deal with it. You know, they don't deal with this in school, never mind in church. They don't deal with this anywhere. And so I struggled for years and years. From the age of 27, years before I attended my first conference with my coach and mentor, Danny, I desperately pursued my freedom. And I guess the one thing that really happened, Jen, is I cared less about my reputation than I did my freedom, because I lived a long time as that, you know, perfect, polished presentation and well-dressed. I was just a well-dressed, broken woman is what I was. I learned how to dress well from a young age because I saw all the successful people out there did that. So I'm like, okay, I've got to figure out how to dress well, and it had massively impacted my life. But there was a disconnect. I was still broken on the inside, and I was a very highly strung woman. This color went gray like at 27. So what happened was I got to a point and I decided I need to just ditch the fear of man. I was the one who needed the most approval, the most edification, the most, I know that I was a pain in the ass in my friend and my family's lives. There was nothing that ever made me feel good enough and strong enough and loved. And because I knew, based on what I was raised with and what happened to me and what was told to me, that I'm unlikable and unlovable, and I was called ugly duckling. And so I thought, okay, well, shit, I'm just going to deal with all this stuff, and I've got to try and kind of create a life out of it. But I got to a point, and it was by 2013, when I saw everything around me was failing. My marriage, my parenting, we had this huge, big business, but we were in debt. It was just a mess. It was just a mess, man. And so I decided that I'm just going to forego anyone's opinion ever. And I pursued my freedom like a son of a gun. I pursued my freedom in every area of my life more than I pursued anything else ever. And that's pursue freedom in, you know, who am I? You know, like this tattoo here. I never thought I was a tattoo person, but I discovered this says daughter, because I heard growing up, she's not my daughter, she's not my daughter, she's not my daughter. And like, so I was totally bound and chained in the area of, well, then what am I? Like, who am I? You know, the identity was like, the word alone was not a conversation I could have. I had no skills in the area of finance. I knew how to make money, but boy, did I know how to blow it as well. And everything was just, the pain was enough that I got to like, you know what, I am prepared to make a fool of myself in front of anybody. If there was a world stage, I would get on there if it got me a step closer to my freedom. in my faith, in my identity, in my body, in my beauty, and in my ability to just like myself. That was my mission. And so the short version is I spent 8 phenomenal, powerful, painful, life-changing years with my coach and mentor whose own courage, whose own reaching out and making herself vulnerable, found people like me who I'm competitive, I'm driven, I'm ambitious. I also want an amazing, powerful life. But how do you do that when you're such a freaking mess, man? just messed up. And so I worked closely with Danny in the conferences and, alongside hundreds and hundreds of other amazing people, with my husband, who I was so grateful, also just went all in, because we knew our problem is our problem. It's not mine or yours. And she helped us through that. And we went from broken and in despair and facing divorce and drowning in debt to turning slowly but surely, turning our lives and our marriage and our parenting and our priorities around. And I've been on, as I say, I'm 50 in a few months' time. So I'm like, it's got a big party coming up and I'm excited about it. But since the age of 27, I've been counseling and coaching and doing personal development and sozo training and all this, like looking for freedom. And I got some, but there was no real breakthrough until I got with Danny. And but knowledge is not power, right? You've got to take the tools and apply it. And so we went balls to the wall, excuse the phrase. We just went, I don't care who sees or says or thinks what of me. I want to be free. And nothing was going to stop me, nothing at all. Because I knew deep down that there was this thing inside of me that had life and that had ability and that had beauty. So fast forward, we're now at the end of 2021, and the crazy irony is, Jen, I went from the ugly duckling, no self-confidence, no self-esteem, mainly thanks to Danny, to I teach confidence through the power of personal style. I teach self-esteem, I teach self-confidence. So yes, first and foremost, always, my thanks, my gratitude, my life goes to my Father in heaven. But I can tell you there are people in my life like Richard, my friend, like Danny Johnson, my coach and mentor, like her husband, Hans, who imparted some stuff into me that really helped me to understand daughterhood and identity. And today, so I went from hating what I saw in the mirror, honestly. I know fluctuating weight is most women's challenge, or body image or beauty is a challenge for most, but I saw a monster in the mirror. And I went from, no matter how teeny tiny I was, like half my size, right? I'm up again in my weight and I don't care. I love my body. I went from hate to love. I went from rejection to acceptance. I went from ugly to beautiful. And it was hard work, but I would do all of it again for the freedom that it's brought into my life and in my marriage, to go from frigid, which is what often happens, if you've been molested. I was very promiscuous first, and then I became very frigid, to not anymore, not anymore, to having total. That's probably one of the greatest gifts I have, is as a wife and as a mother, is to be free with my body, by myself and with my husband, and to know that it's a God-given gift, sex and intimacy and pleasure, and it's not just okay, it's actually essential. It's very stress relieving. and becoming a mom. And I know it was Danny who said to me years ago, I think it was 2014, and I didn't quite believe, I could be a good mom. And she said to me, she said, you're an awesome mom. She said, you're an awesome mom. And she pointed out the things I was doing. And that broke something that had been chained and bound for so long. And I can tell you now, I've got a 14-year-old, handsome, amazing son, Jamie, and I've got a 7-year-old, almost 8-year-old little girl, Paige. And I can say I'm an awesome mom. And that is thanks to the coaching, the training, and ditching the fear of man and the need for approval, and just pursuing my freedom. That's the short version.
Wow, friend, it's so amazing. And it's so amazing to me. First, thank you for being that vulnerable and sharing with us so much of your journey that I know is at times hard to be that transparent and courageous to share the guts of what you've been through with people. So thank you for your courage in that. But it's so amazing to me, even though I know your story, it's amazing to me to hear it and to just realize like you are a strikingly beautiful woman, and to see you in public, I'm sure a lot of people would stop and say, oh, she's totally confident. And I'm talking about even when you were struggling, they were probably saying she's beautiful. She probably doesn't struggle with the things I struggle with. But here you are showing us that everybody does. And someone who is strikingly beautiful and appears confident does.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your vulnerability in that, because it shows us that, everybody struggles. And two, it might even be people that you think don't.
Right.
And you know what makes you more beautiful than even the beauty is your transformation. And the fact that you've gone through that journey, that is more beautiful and stunning than any beauty could ever be. So thank you for sharing that transformational journey with us. I do have one question. So you shared how there was this moment when Hans spoke to that daughter in you. And I was going to ask you, at that first event where you were really at that crossroads where you saw things start to flip inside of you, was there something that was said that just wow, hit you and went to that depth that you're talking about? Was it that daughter statement that you desperately needed to identify with, or was it something else?
Such a freaking good question. No one's ever asked me that, and it's amazing. No, there was no daughterhood. There was no identity. There was no, yes, of course, his presentations on stage at those conferences radically impacted me. But 3 weeks after my first conference with Danny, I felt pregnant. That's how good she is. and I was pregnant, and we went to our first Creating a Dynasty was at the end of, stand corrected, I think it's November 2013 or something like that. And I was pregnant with Paige. And, there was this big conference. We traveled from London or internationally, from anywhere in the world we were at the time, because the results were just so powerful. The fruit just kept on multiplying. And so Jan and I recognized, we've been idiots in a lot of areas, but we're smart when it comes to recognizing good fruit and what we want and what we need in our family. And so I was pregnant at this conference. And there was this big kind of prayer thing at the end, and kind of big kind of shizness thing going on. And like, and you got to stand in line. And all I wanted was for Danny to pray for me. Like I just wanted her just to, as lots of hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people walking through. And she's like, there's this team, and it's a very trustworthy, powerful, beautiful environment that is not religious. It's just beautiful. It's just life-giving. And so like I'm walking around, I'm like, okay, Lord, like I just make sure like Danny doesn't miss me. Like I just want her just to put her hand and just pray for me. And then I close my eyes, and then Hans puts his hand, I didn't see him even, he was somewhere and he put his hand on my head or here, and he prayed over me. And I don't know, I felt changed. I felt empowered, And he actually, the crazy thing is he spoke a business blessing. He spoke wisdom in business over me. And so at the time I thought, all the noise in my head was like, well, if you knew who I was, you wouldn't speak wisdom in business over me, because I make money, but I lose money. But actually he spoke, he imparted a gift of wisdom in business over me. And something changed inside of me. Like I just felt really different. And from that moment on, something opened up in my heart that I don't know, Jen. I don't have a name for it. I don't have a category for it. I was different. And then a number of times that he was at the events, and I was just so glad every time he was there, because he's a powerful man. He's a strong, successful, smart guy. But the vulnerability from the heart that he brought on stage with regards to being a son or being a daughter, I've never heard anyone speak that way I've never heard anyone share what he did. And this is like a powerful man who's getting vulnerable and tearful on stage. Like that doesn't happen, right? It doesn't happen. I've traveled and worked all over the world. It doesn't happen. And God used him in my life to just show me, this is my identity. Like, you're my daughter. Like, my purpose in life is identity. Whether I choose to be a surfer or a singer or a coach, out of that, my purpose is identity. And it was Hans who kind of initiated that. And of course, together, the two of them are powerful. I know we share a coach. They are a big part of my story of where I am today. I would not be doing what I'm not heroing Hans and Danny. I am giving credit and honor where honor is due.
Yes.
I really believe in that, because nearly a decade later, the fruit is not just still there, it is multiplying, Jen. It is rapidly multiplying. I would not be doing, how crazy is this? I teach self-confidence, self-esteem through the power of personal style. The passion for fashion that my God gave me when I was a kid, I'm now I'm having record months. I have wisdom in business, and I have a love and a passion and a gratitude for what I do that came out of that coaching. That's what happened.
Wow. How amazing is that? Like, when you think about the aspect of like a heavenly Father hearing the cries and the desires of your heart, even if they're not spoken, he knew what you needed to hear. And he was like, that is what I'm going to hit her with.
Yeah.
Yes, I want my coach to pray over me, but he knew what you wanted deep down inside even more than that. And he made sure that Hans found you and prayed over you.
Right.
How amazing is that? From the Father's perspective of, I love you, and I want you to know that.
He knew I wasn't going to respond to, you're my daughter. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I've heard all that. It was just nonsense to me. Like, it was just a script. But how that Hans imparted a gift of wisdom in business, and how that released my understanding of who I am. I mean, so powerful.
That's a Father who knows you more than anyone.
Right. Yeah.
So you started to share now about what you're doing now, and you're right. You are inspiring so many people. That's the thing that just blows me away, is how many people you are truly inspiring by who you are and knowing whose you are now. So I want to give a chance for you to share about what you're doing now, because I know there's people probably watching who are like, this woman is amazing. How do I get to a place of self-confidence? Tell us more about Linda Page.
Oh, Jen, that's good of you to ask. I mean, before I go there, if you had to ask me what is the secret, like if there's one thing, for women, I mean, I love men. Hey, I love men, but women are, I really think God did something stunning with creating women. I look at women more than men look at women. It's just a fact. I think women are the most beautiful, incredible, unique creatures that every single woman. And so if there is a secret to beauty, if there is a secret to moving forward, if there is a secret that I discovered, the freaking long road, I took the long way. You don't have to take the long road. There's a shorter road. then I would say, you have to learn to fall in love with the woman in the mirror. And in order to do so, you have to forego your reputation, your fear of rejection, your fear of criticism, your fear of judgment, because guess what? You're judged and criticized and rejected anyway. You may as well get up, dress up, and be a bold light on a hill and go about your business in a strong and confident and faithful way, and fall on your face and get up, and fall on your face and get up. I'm a risk taker. I don't mind. In fact, I like risks. It challenges me and it grows me, and sometimes it really scares me. But the alternative is even scarier, Jen. The alternative is sit on the fence, stay the same. Your comfort zone, which is your dead zone, will kill you, kill your dreams, kill your goals, kill your faith. So what happened with me is I set out to fall in love with the woman in the mirror. And I started saying crazy, like over my body, I started saying, I love my body, which, by the way, for someone like me, I'm pretty short, I'm petite. And if I go up like 5 pounds, it looks like 15 pounds. And I have had I'm just going to share, I've had a breast reduction. I'm still a freaking 32E. Okay. I come from like lots of buxom Scottish women who are hippie and booby, and that's how we do life. And it doesn't matter what I changed. It wasn't good enough. And so I decided I'm going to become my own champion. The woman in the mirror, I'm going to become her biggest cheerleader. I'm going to be for her. It didn't come overnight. It didn't come easy. There were many, many, many fears and tears, many demonic dreams even that came out of that. But I'm nothing if not tenacious. I have fiery Scottish blood running through my veins, add to that a dash of South African blood. And I knew what I wanted, and I'm relentless, and I went after it, and I did. I kind of fell in love with the woman in the mirror. Doesn't mean I don't have challenging days, doesn't mean that I don't have, you know, my own things, but I'm a different woman than I used to be. And so what I do with Linda Page, to answer your question, is I'm a style coach. So I'm not a stylist, and I'm not an image consultant. I have the privilege of teaching confidence through the power of personal style, because when I was 9 years old, I had an encounter with a teacher, Miss McBean, way back in South Africa, in KwaZulu-Natal. And my childhood was a little bit dark and a little bit dreary. And there was one teacher who came onto our playground and into the school for a couple of years. And she dressed in colors I've never seen. She wore red lipstick, which is why I do. This is Miss McBean. She wore skirts and color and that I had never encountered before. And she wore high heels. She became my hope in heels. I knew that she came from a world that was outside of mine, that I knew one day I could get to. That's what she was. So so people think fashion is fickle. Let me tell you something. Fashion is the Ferrari in our closet. Like, God really gave me a passion for fashion where, you know, he doesn't just care about what we wear. He's actually pretty damn specific about it when it comes to color and texture in the scriptures. I'm probably the world's most unqualified fashionista, but I've studied fashion from the scriptures. And I can tell you, God does care about what we wear. And our spirit of beauty is a powerful gift with a powerful purpose and influence. And so we live in a world, unfortunately, that teaches that red is the color of the devil and all that BS, and teaches, you know, that to go to church, we must do this and be quiet and dress down, whatever. You know, there's like scripture after scripture after scripture that says, you know, do not be conformed to this world, i.e. don't work from home in your freaking PJs. You know, it says never be lacking in zeal. It doesn't say except when it comes to what you wear. It says do all things as unto him, you know, but don't worry about your closet. Like all of it's just, it's loaded. It's loaded. And so I have a program. It's a 6-week program. It's called Confidence Through the Power of Personal Style. How to build a beautiful wardrobe on a budget, because I'm not a designer shopper. I've never been a high-end shopper. I'm a simple girl who likes to look good. Okay, so it's how to build a beautiful wardrobe on a budget, customized to your personality, your lifestyle, and your profession. What is the capsule wardrobe? Have you got a vision for your hair? Do you have the right hairstyle for your, you know, hair, makeup, shoes, lashes, powder brows versus microblading, and all that beautiful, fun stuff? But at the heart of it is you need to learn to fall in love with the woman in the mirror. Otherwise, no matter what outfit you put on, Gucci has got nothing on the grace and the power that God gave us in our spirit of beauty. So it is an inside job, but it's not just an inside job. Beauty must show up on the outside. And when we dress to connect with the woman in the mirror, Jen, like if you go to the mirror in the mornings and you look, you got to feel like, yep, I nailed it. Like that's me. And then when you dress in a way that reflects on the outside, the woman that's on the inside, that's next level style. Then you're dressing to connect with those around you. And that's what life is about, is connection and community and people. So yeah, so we have it's challenging. I work with the most incredible, amazing, beautiful women from all walks of life, all ages, I guess my clients would probably be on average between the age of 35 and 55, 60. My oldest client is 78, my youngest is 17. Women are like, I'm not done. I'm 78 and I've still got a lot to give, and I love it. And so we celebrate our age, we celebrate what we have, we celebrate our boob size, our butts and our bellies. I've shown my beautiful billowy belly plenty times on camera. And it's about not your size, it's about your shape. Understand your body. How do you dress? What colors do you like? You know, what are the basics? There are some basics, but I don't think anyone's got the right to say to anybody else, you can't wear that. I just don't. I have a huge respect for my industry, for fashion, for designers and for stylists out there, but I don't think I could say to you, no, you can't wear that. Who am I? You know, you want my opinion? I'm going to give you my opinion. Or does it work? And what can we change? But if you're going to wear it, just rock it and wear it well and enjoy it and have fun with it.
So good, friend. So good. So if you're like Linda and you're ready to get unstuck and move forward, if you're ready to be a bold light on a hill, if you know that you have so much more to offer this world than you are right now, then you need to learn how to present the value and the beauty inside of you on the outside. You're in the fashion business, whether you realize it or not. And style is just a skill. And I know, like you can probably tell listening to Linda today, that she would love to show you how. So please, friend, if you're listening today and you're like, I need to get to where Linda is, please, please, please reach out to Linda. We're going to drop the website link below so that people can connect with you. But one last question for that person who is listening today and can relate to your journey. And maybe they're a little bit farther back on their journey and they're going through those emotions and those feelings. They're struggling with that woman in the mirror and looking at her every day. What one piece of advice would you say to that woman right now, friend?
That's good, Jen. There's one word. It's the one thing I did years ago that changed it, and it's action. You don't need no more thinking, no more praying, no more journaling, although those things all have their place. No more considering, contemplating, meditating. Action is the only thing standing between your status quo and a confident, bold, beautiful tomorrow. And I work with clients who are, recently divorced, who have been single and don't want to be, who are feeling frumpy and frustrated and overlooked and not respected in the workplace, who are all kinds of, hating what they see because of, they're waiting for the wait. All of that is a status quo, and all they're lacking is skills. I can't even emphasize enough just how simple style is. It is like, and I use the baking analogy because I can't bake, okay? I don't like it, I don't want to learn it, and so I use it. If I wanted to learn to make the perfect chocolate velvet cake, if there is such a thing, and I wanted to learn it, there is a recipe, there are ingredients, and there are instructions. And if I wanted to nail that cake, I would just focus, apply, and repeat, and I would become known for my chocolate velvet cake. Style is the same. There are some basic fundamentals. They're super, super simple. There is a blueprint. There are some ingredients in the capsule wardrobe, and the instructions are how to mix and match them, and voila. It's about simplifying and systemizing your get up, dress up routine, eliminating all the stressing from dressing, and just becoming confident and creative in the gift that is fashion. That is literally what we do every day. And we have women who are married, single, engaged, or somewhere in the middle, who are launching businesses, enjoying promotions, getting salary increases, and most importantly, just feeling beautiful and worthy and pretty and valuable. When they look in the mirror, they don't anymore see the ugly. They actually, because most women see a distorted view of themselves, they actually see what I see, what we see is a beautiful woman of honor, value, and identity, whose leadership and love is much needed in the world.
So good. So good. So the tools are there, friend. It's a matter of, do you want to change how you feel about who you see? And if you do, you know what to do. Linda, thank you, my friend, so freaking much for joining me here today. Oh my gosh, it was incredible to have you. You are such a bold freaking light on a hill. And that is exactly what just happened in this interview today. Wow, was that inspiring. And I am just so honored and grateful to know you. You are an amazing friend. You're an amazing mom. And I know he is up there just delighted, freaking delighted by everything that you are, everything that you've done, and the journey that you've walked. Every single part of it, I know, brings him delight.
That's awesome, Jen. You're a powerful encourager. So I'm going to go ahead and receive all the words of life you've spoken over me and say thank you. Thank you for the honor of being invited to be interviewed and have a conversation with you. I miss you, and you are right back at you. You are a powerful, beautiful woman who is doing some amazing things in the world. Your courage and your creativity are next level, Jen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, friend. It's been so fun spending the day with you.
I know, it has. It has.
Okay, so wow, wasn't that powerful? Do you have an overcomer story? Do you know someone who needs to hear this message? Please share this video on your social platforms and tag us so we know who you are. Stay tuned as we share more overcomer stories in the weeks ahead. We're looking for you. We're looking for the overcomers. Join us. Let's come together as the overcomers. Start sharing your story. We have multiple ways you can start getting involved and repping the movement, repping your story of what he has done in your life. And last but not least, if you want to learn how to overcome, visit www.dannyjohnson.com. That's my coach, and that's where I learned how to overcome. Thank you so much for joining with us today. We believe in you, and we believe in the power of story. We believe in your story.